Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 13, text number 4. Swadharmashila Purushe Bhagavan Yagna Purushaha Ijyamano Bhaktimata Naradene Rita Swadharmashilasya Purushe Bhagavan Yagna Purushaha Ijyamano Bhaktimata Naradene Rati Kila. Swadharmashilai Purushay Bhagavan Yagna Purushaha Ijyamano Bhaktimata Naradene Rita Kila. Swadharmashilai Purushay Bhagavan Yagna Purushaha Ijyamano Bhaktimata Naradene Rita Kila. Translation and purport by Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. While all the Prachetas were executing the religious rituals and sacrificial ceremonies and thus worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his satisfaction, the great sage Narada described the transcendental qualities of Dhruva Maharaj. Purport. Narada Muni is always glorifying the pastimes of the Lord. In these words, we see that not only does he glorify the Lord, but also likes to glorify the devotees of the Lord. The great sage Narada's mission is to broadcast the devotional service of the Lord. For this purpose, he has compiled the Narada Pancharatra, a directory of devotional service, so that the devotees can always take information about how to execute devotional service and thus engage 24 hours a day in performing sacrifices for the purpose of for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has created As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has created 4 orders of social life, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. In Narada Pancharatra, it is clearly described how each of the social orders can please the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 18.45, it is stated, Sve Sve Karmani Abhirata Samasiddhim Labate Naraha. By executing one's prescribed duties, one can please the Supreme Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.13, also it is stated, Swanusthitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. The perfection of duty is to see that by discharging one specific duties, one satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the Prachetas were performing sacrifice according to this direction, Narada Muni was satisfied to see these activities, and he also wanted to glorify Dhruva Maharaj in the sacrificial arena. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सागना साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सागना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुवन्दनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा। Thank you all for joining. Okay, 9, 10. So this verse he describes about how Narada Muni narrated the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj to Prachetas. Okay, so Prachetas are 10 in number, 10 brothers. Okay, and Narada Muni actually was very much impressed by the devotion that the Prachetas are performing. And he actually explained about the Pancharatra Vidhi, and then he in that after that he also glorifies Dhruva Maharaj. He gave the example of Dhruva Maharaj. If you see, the Prachetas are the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj, like in the lineage. Okay, like Dhruva Maharaj was the great grandfather of Prachetas. So if we see the story of Prachetas, like every pastime of the Srimad Bhagavatam is a exemplary, very exemplary for in our day-to-day life to learn a lot of lessons from them. So Prachetas actually the main, but there will be main one main point from each character, from each like pastime of Srimad Bhagavatam. So from the pastimes of the Prachetas, the main important thing is the cooperation among the devotees. So Prachetas did tapasya for 10,000 years. How did they do? They went underneath the water, and in the water in the lake they did the austerities. So that actually didn't please Vishnu. Like you might be doing a lot of austerities, right? So you might be doing going for book distribution is very purifying, doing sankirtan in a cold weather. Actually, coming to any satsang or any spiritual thing, anything related to Krishna, anything itself is a it itself is kind of very pleasing to Krishna. It can be considered tapasya. Why? Because we have senses. Uh, our senses always, what do they demand? Sense gratification. Right? How many wants to see a movie instead of coming to Bhagavatam class? How many wants to go out and play soccer or anything like that instead of coming to spiritual gatherings? That because in this material world there are two things: sense objects, senses always go after sense objects, sense enjoyment. I want pleasure. Eyes want to see something beautiful, tongue want to taste something delicious, and ears want to hear something. like exciting, like glorification or rock music, or and and other senses have their own respective demands. And sense object has a propensity to attract the senses. See how powerful. Already there is a pull and there is a push also. So, and the jivas, like the living entities, uh, every one of us are struggling with the senses, that includes mind. Even by some or other, like you make it to something like some spiritual gathering or something like that, our mind will play the trick now. Oh, you came with lot of effort, you came here finally, but I will be gone. It will go somewhere else, right? It will be meditating on something. What will happen tomorrow? Why that person said something like this? You meditate on something. You don't get involved in the spiritual, what do you call, education, spiritual upliftment that is happening in any Krishna conscious gathering. So basically, the living entities are in a precarious situation. They are totally lost, and they don't know how to control the senses. They don't know how to control the mind. What to speak of, no? But this is called sadhana. Even though everything is out of hand, trying to control them is what actually is called sadhana or tapasya. Tapasya means austerity. So basically, in this material world, fall down is very easy. It's easy to destroy everything, destroy one's own character, destroy, like say somebody is like a well behaved, and somebody is pleasing to everyone, is friend of all, nicely obedient to parents, and like very obedient to professors and all those things, and elderly people, respecting everybody. He has to get that what you call goodwill, or to get that reputation. He has to continuously do for many years. But if it only take one incident to destroy everything. Like one person, he was actually like he was actually one YouTuber. He was doing very nice videos. Like he's inviting all the uh, influence like people who are very excellent in their field, like engineers, doctors, and then especially the spiritualists. He invites various gurus, and most of the time, Gaurang Prabhu, they all went to his talks. So, and this like even myself also, I used to recommend to anyone I know, you watch this, is very good, it's very nice, informative, like that. I used to watch. Suddenly, what this person did one time, he went to some like some free talks, or some loose talk, something like, and he did like one mistake of like promoting illicit sex, and that went so much viral that he was defamed, and he was right how social media thing works. Once you got, then everybody will blaspheme, and then so like that means for then he later on he comes and apologizes. I don't know. You might be knowing him, right? Huh? So how much effort that he has kept for building that reputation? Like even the great professor, great saintly people, they are going to his talks. But that one mistake he did, and everything like totally, like not everything is gone, but most of the people maintain distance from him. So they thought that this person has been all the way, has been pretending only. This is the real character, because they become judgmental. So, so it has to, we have to be very careful. Like we have to be very careful, because to maintain something positive, to maintain the standards, is always a struggle. But to degrade is a just a matter of seconds. So if you see here, Prachetas also, they actually they did austerities and all those things. But later on, like after this conversation, later on verses, Lord Vishnu appears in front of, he appears to them, and he says, I am impressed by mutual cooperation among yourself. Lord Vishnu didn't say, oh, you did very tapasya for 10,000 years underwater, you did great tapasya. He didn't say that. I am impressed with your mutual cooperation, how you treat each other. Means the 10 of them are there, right? They never quarrel, they always support each other in their devotion service. So that is the takeaway point from the life of Prachetas. So why? If you are in the association of devotees, if you are associating with other people, you have two opportunities. You can hear from each other, and you can serve each other, and you can uplift each other. That is very pleasing to Krishna. Then, like somebody going into Delhi and meditating, performing severe austerity. Of course, Dhruva Maharaj performed severe austerities, but it was under the guidance of Narada Muni, but he was only 5 years old. So, like that. So, and in this verse, Narada Muni glorifies about, like especially glorification of devotees is mentioned. See, Bhagavad Gita is a message of Krishna, direct only the message of Krishna, how to lead our life in this material world. But Srimad Bhagavatam is the like exemplary, what do you call it, standards and exemplary pastimes, which we can learn from the devotees, from their lives. So, so Narada Muni glorifies mainly, like Prabhupada is highlighting that we actually, like, Narada Muni not only glorifies the Krishna, but also, if you see, Narada Muni always singing the holy name of Krishna, Narayan, Narayan, Radha Raman, like that. But he also glorifies the devotees. He also want to he also broadcast the glories of the devotees. He went to different people and say how these devotees are doing. Like in those days, there is no social media, right? Like there is no way of connecting. Like some people might not be able to connect. But Narada Muni, persons like Narada Muni, saintly persons, they travel from place to place, and they see the qualities in one place and go somewhere else and tells, oh, see how the people are doing, how they are actually uh, uplifting themselves spiritually. And like that, they used to them. That's why the saintly people have highest regard in the Vedic culture. The sannyasis, they are not supposed to stay in one place. They always wander different places. Right now, His Holiness Rana Maharaj came here. It's so uplifting for all of us. You can see so many changes in the temple that, that are not expected to be possible at all. So much positivity you can see, right? So that's why, like one time in Srimad Bhagavatam also, like Krishna says to in Uddhava Gita, uh, he says to Uddhava that no, Madbhakta Puja Vedika means more than worshiping me, worshiping my devotee is more important. That's why Prabhupada in the Mangalarti time starts with Sri Guru Charana Padma. Means it's a glorification of spiritual master. Samsara Dhamanala, whatever it is. And then after 7 o'clock, Aarti, it starts with Sri Guru Charan, means glorifying spiritual master. So both of the time you are starting with glorifying spiritual master, then you are glorifying Panchatattva and then Hare Krishna mantra. So first priority was given to the devotees. So, and worshipping Tulsi Maharani, she is a great devotee. Worshipping cows, they are very pleasing to Krishna. So Krishna says, more than worshipping me is purifying and it is pleasing me. But it will please me more if you worship my devotees, right? So, like for example, a parent is there. If you go and give like a very multimillionaire achiever or a very influential person is there, you go and glorify more. You did this. You are such a wonderful person. All those things, and he will be pleased. But if you have a child, and if you actually take good care of the child, that will please him more. And if you glorify his child in front of that person, that will please him more, right? So like that's why there is a saying, right? love me, love my dog, right? If you love me, you have to love my dog. So I'm not saying the child as a dog, something like that. Means anybody, tadiya. That's why it is said that one time Mother Parvati asked one question to Lord Shiva. Oh, my dear Lord, Lord Shiva, whom do you think is the greatest of all, and what worship is the best? And Lord Shiva is the most exalted personality in this entire world, right? So he said to Mother Parvati. Actually, the discussion between Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva are meant for the devotees in general, because on behalf of all the devotees, Mother Parvati asks the questions, keeps on asking questions, and Lord Shiva used to instruct. So Lord Shiva says, Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam param Matta parataram devi tadiyanam samarchita means um, worshipping Lord Vishnu is the highest. Okay, so worshipping Lord Vishnu is the highest. But more than worshipping Lord Vishnu is worshipping Tadiya. Tadiya means somebody like somebody who belongs to that person, right? No? So, like for example, uh, Lord Krishna's Tadiya are his devotees, his pastimes, his glories, anything related to him is called Tadiya. So if we actually respect something which actually belongs to him, among all the Tadiya, the devotees of Lord are the highest. Because even we have to worship, we have to respect all the things that are related to Krishna, like Mridanga, Bhagavatam, uh, Lord's shoe, Lord's flute, everything has to be respected. But the Tadiya of the Lord, the greatest Tadiya of the Lord are his devotees. Krishna says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you can see this pastime. That not like Krishna is, Prabhupada himself says, Krishna doesn't care all these millions of universes. He said, he is willing to give away all these millions of universe for the sake of one devotee. Prabhupada also says, like yesterday I was mentioning that we can sell all our temples, all our properties if we can get one devotee. Means that is the value of one devotee. So when we respect such devotee, it is very pleasing to Krishna. And the devotee, who is the devotee? Devotees of three levels. Like yesterday Maharaj was saying, right? Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari. Especially a person who are in the Uttamadhikari should be a pure devotee of Krishna, are of two types. One pure devotee is somebody who actually don't have any kind of anarthas. He is completely pure in the heart. He is totally always meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like that. That is one kind of pure devotee. And another kind of pure devotee is one who tries his best to give all his time, energy, and efforts to be Krishna conscious. One who is trying his best, right? I gave the example, right? How the senses are pulling us and how our mind is disturbing us. But someone who tries his best to control them, who tries his best to means like there should be is 100% in endeavoring to control them and to engage them in Krishna's service. That he is also pure devotee. So any sadhaka, any person who is actually very sincere is also pure devotee, and also a person who is actually totally exalted, totally like control his mind, totally always absorbed in Krishna consciousness is also pure devotee. So some people says among them, second kind of pure devotee is more more glorifiable, because even though he doesn't have enough of knowledge, even though enough of power to control the senses and mind, but he is trying his best. So like that, one time Prabhupada went to one meeting, and then some people asked, "Oh, Prabhupada, you have created this ISKCON, such a big organization. How many pure devotees you have in your movement?" in your entire movement. Prabhupada said, Prabhupada turned to his disciples, how many members we have in our movement? And somebody, we have some like now, like 20,000. Oh, we have 20,000 pure devotees. Means Prabhupada is saying every person in ISKCON, every person in Hare Krishna movement is a pure devotee. Why? Because the movement is pure. Because the education, the culture, the like no, everything is centered on pure devotion service. We don't see here we are doing this worship or this festival to get that. What is pure devotion service? The devotion which is unmotivated and uninterpreted. That kind of what devotion is pure devotion service. Means you don't have any motivation to come to Mangalarti, to come to Guru Puja, to come to Bhagavatam class, and and it should be uninterrupted. Like one day you do and like 10 days you don't do. That is not the pure devotion. That pure devotion should be unmotivated and uninterrupted. And right now, then how come Prabhupada says right now? At that time, Prabhupada had so many disciples who just joined from hippie background, from like Western culture, like they still have their conditionings, all those things. But still, Prabhupada consider them as pure devotees. Why? Krishna also consider them as pure devotees. Right? Krishna says, "Api cheta sudracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasito siya," like something. Last sentence I'm missing. So he's saying he might be having so much of conditioning. He might be doing so many of. He might be a lot of conditionings. He might be engaged, doing something superficially sinful activities. But as long as he is bhajanti, he is always performing sadhana, performing his endeavor to perfect himself. So he is considered as sadhu. He is considered as a pure devotee. So we may not be able to reach that level of first category of pure devotees, but definitely we can keep ourselves in the second category. Second category of pure devotees, what they have to do? Engage all our energy, engage all our resources, engage all our time, energy in the service of Krishna. Not engage, try to engage, try our best to engage. Because sometimes we may be successful, sometimes we may not be successful. Because not all things are under our control. Because Krishna is Bhavagrahi. Krishna says what is the intent, what is the mood of the devotee behind that act. Okay. So and there are so many pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam and so many instructions in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna glorifies his devotees more than himself. We know that pastime of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. Like Ambarish Maharaj was offended with Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni actually unnecessarily becomes angry with Ambarish Maharaj and tries to kill Ambarish Maharaj by creating a demon. And when the demon was going to rush him, Vishnu Chakra comes and destroys the demon and goes after Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni, he thought, okay, this is Vishnu Chakra. Now to get protection from him, I have to go at least some higher authority. So he go to Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, all the devatas that they are available. But nobody says, right, this Vishnu Chakra, we can't do anything. Hari Chakra, so you have to go to Lord Hari only. So finally, Durvasa Muni goes to Vishnu and says, my dear Lord, please relieve me from this suffering. Your chakra is so close to me that it is creating fire on my back. That's it. Then Lord Vishnu says, Sadhu Hrudayam Mayam Sadhunam Hrudayam Tvaham Madanyate Najanati Naham Tebhyo Mana Api. Means the pure devotee is always within my core of my heart, and I am always in their heart. My devotees know nobody but me, and I know no one but my devotees. Means Vishnu says, you offended my devotee, and I can't help it. I'm helpless. I can't even control my chakra. So you have to go to Ambarish Maharaj only. So he comes all the way to Ambarish Maharaj. So means offending any devotee or displeasing any devotee has such a serious consequences. And Ambarish Maharaj, Durvas Muni comes all the way from the Vaikuntha Loka to and takes shelter, begs forgiveness from Ambarish Maharaj, and Ambarish Maharaj totally forgives him and prays to Chakra to spare the life of Durvas Muni. So, and but okay, we're all not perfect beings. Knowingly, unknowingly, we commit some mistakes. Then what should we do to get relief of that reactions of offending a devotee is to go and best is go and beg forgiveness, go and apologize to the devotee, or at least try to please the devotee. So when the devotee is pleased, automatically Krishna is pleased. Okay? So we have this pastime, one time there is a devotee in Navadip, Devanand Pandit. I actually narrated the story many times, but I would like to mention one more time because it has a very strong message for every one of us. So one time Srivas Thakur was sitting in the Srimad Bhagavatam class as Devanand Pandit, and Srivas Thakur becomes ecstatic hearing the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he started crying out loudly, uncontrollably. He started crying, and this was disturbing to the disciples of Devanand Pandit. They felt little disturbance. What they did, they actually dragged Srivas Pandit out of the class and then expelled him. So then Srivas Thakur, he is a Vaishnava, he didn't take any offense, so he went away. But later on, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Navadvip, the Devanand Pandit was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Devanand Pandit reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, he became so fierce, and as if like he personally offended Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, Devanand Pandit, you don't have any qualification to read Srimad Bhagavatam. I will tear your Srimad Bhagavatam. Like that, he came. And it was so, Devanand Pandit was so fearful that he actually used to maintain distance from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Means all the devotees in Navadvip got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu except Devanand Pandit. So he was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, but he is not getting the mercy of Krishna. Why? Because he offended Srivas Thakur. So, but he didn't even realize that why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has so much of anger upon me, why he is so much displeased with me. He didn't even inquire into it. So, but always he was kept aside. If all the devotees are there, all the devotees are nicely doing festival, Janmashtami, but one person is kept aside. You feel like, yeah, okay. So, but later on, what happened? This Devanand Pandit, he actually humbly served Vakreshwar Prabhu, Vakreshwar Pandit. Vakreshwar Prabhu was dancing, and Devanand Pandit actually did some service by keeping the crowd away from Vakreshwar Pandit. So, and after that service, and it pleased Vakreshwar Prabhu, Vakreshwar Pandit, and it pleased Mahaprabhu also. Later on, when Devanand Pandit was staying far away, and paying obeisance from far distance, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls him, you come Devanand Pandit, and then he actually gives him mercy. So that means if by mistake, unknowingly, because Devanand Pandit didn't even know that offense was such a grave thing, because he directly didn't offend. Because when his devout disciples are offending, he didn't say anything. So we should be careful enough that in our presence, that when the devotees are offended, we should take some action. We should either speak against it, or you can try to avoid it, or try to teach a lesson to that person who is offending the devotees. So, but Devanand Pandit, what he did, he actually served Vakreshwar Prabhu, by which he actually got rid of the offensive mentor, that reaction due to his offense. So that's what I can say. Maharaj is here. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.